Boom, guys, Tony Rivera here with the Vice President, Luca Atalla from Gracie Magazine. Luca, thank you so much for taking the time for this interview.
My pleasure, always.
I just want to start off with a little story that how I remember you. I think it was about 1999, 2000. Renzo was teaching out of...
I'm not that old.
I am.
It's impossible.
Renzo was teaching at a Gold's Gym in Middletown. I know you remember that. It was you, Ricardo Almeida. So I didn't know who you were at the time. I saw you with the camera. I said, man, who's that guy? So I thought you were just a photographer. So everybody starts training, and then I see you take the camera off, and I remember there was a big wrestler there, and he was kicking everybody's ass. So they were like, the one guy says to me, watch this guy. And he was talking about you. And I said, hey, you know, the guy was big, you were small. I said, I don't know, man. I think that guy's going to beat him up. So Luca got on him, took his bag, choked him out. I said, holy shit, who is that guy? He said, that's Renzo's student. So just tell everybody a little bit, how long you been training with Renzo?
Man, it's been a long time. I started with him in 1993. He had an academy in Ipanema, in Brazil. And in my summer vacation from the university, first from 91 to 92, I went train. My brother sent me to train with Hélio Soneca, and I spent like 3 months training with Soneca, and then I had to stop because I used to work, you know, 9 to 5, and I had the university, you know, I used to.
So you work and you went to college?
Yes, okay. To attend to engineer at the time. And in the next summer vacation, Renzo had opened his academy, his school in Ipanema. So my brother told me to go there, and I went there, and I become a very big friend of Renzo, you know, right away. And then I start, and what happened is, when my summer vacation finished, I didn't come back to the college.
That's it, huh?
I stick with the training.
You got hooked on jiu-jitsu like everybody.
And I remember till today, you know, one day, and that was the first time I hadn't passed in an exam in my whole life. It was a mechanic, and Renzo was in my house, and he looked to the papers, and he saw the math formulas, you know, and the integrals, and I don't know the name in English, but you know the very
equations.
The equations, the equations, and he asked me, "What the hell is that?" And I told him, "Oh, this is mechanic." He looked at music, mechanic. The only part of mechanic I know is the arm locks. And I said, oh, I'll do the same, you know, I will forget about that. Eventually, I come back to the university to study journalism, you know, but I dropped out of the engineering.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to give everybody a little history lesson. Carlos Gracie wanted you because you knew about computers in 1996?
No, 1994.
94, okay, 94.
Yeah.
And then you got with Master Carlos, and then the Gracie Magazine was started off as a newspaper.
Yes, Journal Gracie.
Journal Gracie. Yes. And then in 1996 was the first Gracie Mag. And then...
You're right, you know better than me.
Yes, I was reading, doing my research. And then in 1998, which is when I started jiu-jitsu, Gracie Magazine became bilingual. English? No. Only in 2006. Oh, 2006.
Yeah.
But something happened in 98?
98, we start the GracieMag.com.
GracieMag.com.
Yeah,
okay.
our online, you know.
The GMA? Or just the online?
No, just the online.
But that was just in Portuguese?
Just in Portuguese.
And in 2006 it became bilingual?
Yes, 2006, beginning of 2006.
Now, real quick.
It took a while. It was a long dream to me to publish the magazine in English, but I just didn't have the resource to do so. So it took, you know, a lot of time.
Did you translate it all yourself, or you had people?
No, I had people. And at that time we had people doing that.
Now, real quick,
you guys can tell I'm not able to translate anything.
You got good English. Tell the people really quick how the GMA works. Like, do you have to have an academy to have a GMA membership?
Yeah, usually either you have an academy or a store. that you sell like martial arts stuff, because the way it works, in the beginning we didn't have the distribution on the bookstores in the United States. So the way we figure out to put the magazine here was through the academies, which makes a lot of sense, because rather than go to a difficult audience, because in a bookstore everybody goes there, you go straight to the target, because the martial arts students, they are the ones who are our target. So we figure out a way to sell the magazines to the schools, and they sell to the students. That's the way it works. And on the other hand, the GMA work as an association also to promote the schools. We have a section inside the magazine which the members of the GMA, they have everything new happening in their academies. We publish there. We also, give the coverage in our website, graciemag.com. So it's like, it makes a lot of sense, because if their students buy our magazine, it's like they want to read about their own academies.
Right. So pretty much in a nutshell, getting GMA membership is a good incentive for the academy, because Gracie Magazine gives back.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Renzo real quick. I know you've been with Renzo for a long time, but how has Renzo influenced you on and off the mats? I mean, as a fighter, forget, he's phenomenal.
Man, it's a lot. It's really hard to say, but I think he's big out of all influence he did to me. The biggest one is to be positive always. Everybody who knows Renzo, or even people who don't know him, but see him on the website or in magazines, they always see a smile on his face, and he always carrying a smile. And I try to carry my life like that. Right now I cannot even move my arm the way I messed my neck a few days ago, but I try to be positive. I try to keep smiling. That's his biggest influence on me. But besides that, he's such an altruist. He gives a lot to the people, and
that's why personally I believe that, I would say 99% of his students are loyal. You never see nobody leaving. Everybody stays. It's a tight unit. And I think that's why all the best guys in the world train here, because, you get top-notch instruction. You got GSP downstairs, RG Gracie, the Honolulu House down there. These guys are world champions, Abu Dhabi champions. Now let's get to the good stuff. You're a big juicer now. I see you tweeting all the time. You're on Facebook all the time now. Kelly likes your stuff. Now, she asked you for a recipe the other day. Are you coming out with a book about that? Because everybody's doing it now. They love it. Even Emilio does.
Actually, Renzo wants me to write a book about that, and I'm thinking seriously about that, because that's a way for me to give back a very important thing that Jiu-Jitsu gave me. And it's funny, because I have two big influence on my life and Jiu-Jitsu and on my life in general. It's Renzo and Carlinhos also. Carlinhos, because Renzo took me to work with Carlinhos, and I spent, like, when I started working with him in 1994, the end of 1994, everything, Carlinhos used to live in one-bedroom house. And the newspaper was there, the Brazilian Federation was there, and the Gracie Barra office was there.
In the one house?
One house, one bedroom. He had two kids, Cairo and Caroline, his wife, and he put, and I was his first employee.
So you lived in the house too?
Yeah, I didn't live, but I spent my whole day. I used to get there like 8 in the morning. And 11, of course, we went to train at Gracie Barra, You know, I call
that's like
it
the Mecca.
Yeah, and I call it the laziest. You know, it's a time only people who don't work can go from 11 to 1 p.m.
And they train all day.
Yeah. So I used to attend this class and then come back and work with him. And so before we grew and went to our own office, Gracie Mag, I spent like at least 2 years working there and living, you know, the whole day with Carlinhos. And so I learned how to eat. That when I learned different things about eating, and it was very strange for me. I had like a traditional education, food education, and Carlinhos, he used to eat very little of cooked food. So I learned how to prepare my juices. I learned to eat fruits at least 2 meals a day. Were fruits at the time, and I become more selective in the way I choose my food. And then Carlinhos taught me a lot about his father, who not only introduced jiu-jitsu in Brazil. He was the first one to learn from Japanese, and he had, you know, the Gracie family behind him, but he was very focused on the nutrition. He was a big researcher of the natural foods and herbs also. And since then, I became addicted and research about this kind of stuff as well. So I always
real quick. I know a lot of people say, like, would say, oh, he's from Brazil. You know, they have natural farms and fruits everywhere. Like, how would you tell like a Westerner, like someone in North America, like if they wanted to, what would they do? Go to an organic food store?
Yeah,
I know you say you have a favorite food store. Which one is it?
It's Dean's Market here in New Jersey.
Dean's Market.
Yeah. And I like Whole Foods a lot. You know, there are some Whole Foods supermarket. They are really big through the whole United States, right? And I believe every town has like its own natural food stores. But it's funny, you know, people you know, say that in Brazil it's much easier, and now many people from Brazil, even relatives of my relatives, they are asking me how to adapt my diet to Brazil because they cannot find the stuff I'm finding here.
Really?
So I need to now to think how I would do that in Brazil.
Is it the fruits that they have?
Yeah, because here now with the globalization, you can find. For instance, goji berries in the natural food store, and in Brazil you cannot find. So and people will say, oh, so what? So what? Goji berry is considered it's considered
arguably.
Yeah, arguably.
That's a tough one for me.
Yeah, one of the best foods in the world. You know,
you can eat it raw.
You need it raw. It's a fruit, right? So, but you get here either in powder, or dried, or frozen.
Okay.
And you easily find one of these 3 things. Of course, you cannot eat it fresh because it comes from China, from the Himalayas.
Now, what are the benefits of the goji berry?
It's a very strong antioxidant.
Okay.
And it's a fruit that has a lot of vegetal protein, which I believe it's the only protein you should eat. You know, I really believe that most of the known disease are coming from the animal protein. You know, like including heart disease, cancers, diabetes, and you know, allergies.
Now, do you think that's because the meat today is so mass-produced? You know, like they put the steroids in it. They say they don't, but you know, we know they do.
I mean,
there's so many chemicals.
It's really hard to prove what's the reason, but the research, what they show are people who eat whole foods, plant-based diet. they are much healthier
right.
than people who eat animal protein based diet.
Right.
So the reason inside of it could be like thousands of different reasons, but I guess our body is unable to metabolize such amount of protein people advertise you to eat nowadays. You know, protein for the last like 20 years or 30 years, there was a lot of you know, people say you need to eat a lot of protein because it rebuilds your cells and everything. But the question is how much protein you should really eat. And the research, they show if you eat more than your body could metabolize, it could
they say it damages your kidneys.
Yeah, and not only the kidneys, it makes a very suitable environment for cancer, for instance, for heart disease, for instance. And in the other hand, if you eat like a whole foods, plant-based diet, you can eat as much protein, vegetal protein you can, and it's not going to be harmful for your body.
Right.
So that's the thing I believe. And the carbs, they you know, people talk a lot of bad about the carbs, but the thing is, the truth is, the bad carbs are the refined carbs, like sweet, sugar, pasta, white bread, those things. But if you eat like whole grains, they are all good.
And you can get carbs from fruit also.
Most of my carbs, they come from fruits. You know, particular for me, it works like this. I eat the whole day. I'm either eating fruits or vegetables. I barely eat any grain. You know, that's the way I eat. I'm not saying, you know, it's the best way to eat, but it's the way I feel.
So you personally, you don't eat any animal meat?
No.
How about fish?
Very, very seldom. Very seldom I eat that. You know, like I like codfish, for instance.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I go and eat that, but I will not tell you I don't do.
Right.
But I do, knowing I'm doing it for my taste, not for my health.
I understand.
Okay.
I think all of us do that. All of us Americans, anyway.
Yeah.
One more quick question, Luca. What has jiu-jitsu done for you, like in your life? You know, I mean, besides, I mean, you go to a million places, you cover the greatest events on the planet. But for you personally, like, what have jiu-jitsu done, like, for your life? Like,
I think one of the most beautiful things are related what you said, you know, about traveling and everything. It's the network. You know, the way we are able to have like brothers now here where I live in New Jersey, or in Russia, for instance. Today we had our first black belt from Russia graduated by Renzo, and I was there in Russia like 20 days ago. I spent 10 days with them, like teaching there, training there, and like a few months ago, I was in Denmark, in Copenhagen, with another brother, the guy who used to work with me in Gracie Mag, JP. Now he teaches there. He has a very successful school there in Copenhagen, and I was there teaching. So this network, it's beautiful. You know, have the best thing you have in life are your friends. And if you are able to have friends of different cultures around the world, it's really good.
Beautiful thing.
It's beautiful.
Now, another thing, like I said, you see so many athletes come here, and like I said, Renzo's the best teacher, and it's just like you said, he's always got a smile on his face. Any last things you want to say before we wrap it up? Oh, you're leaving us soon. Tell everybody when you're going to California.
Yeah, I'm leaving this Friday to California. You know,
you're going there to live?
Huh?
To live?
Yeah, to live there in Dana Point. You know, I'm really excited to move to there. And I will be here in New York and East Coast very often, because even before I moved to the United States, I moved here in April of 2007. I used to come like 3-4 times a year to visit Renzo here. So I keep doing the same. I will be here like 3-4 times a year.
Excellent.
Okay?
All right, guys. You see Luca Atalla, guys, Vice President, Gracie Magazine. You should be asking this guy for his autograph. Be on the lookout for his book coming out soon. You should name it 1,000,001 Ways to Juice. Luca Atalla, guys, Gracie Magazine.
Let me just tell one more thing. If you don't understand something, use Google Translation from Portuguese and you'll be able to do so.
Take care, guys. Thank you so much.